what is riba is the first thing that I would like to mention my understanding on. You see, the Almighty wants us Muslims, believers, to help other fellow humans in their time of need. You have extra funds with you, and there are others who are in need of them. The best way is to let them have what you don't need. That's the real spirit. However, at times, if you cannot decide to give your funds away permanently, then you can also arrange for the amount to be given with the condition that it's going to be returned. When you give that loan to help somebody in need, then the Almighty would not allow you to ask for even a penny more than what you've given. Because obviously you've given the amount to help the other person who didn't have enough funds with him to be able to meet his her needs. So that's pretty much clear. However, sometimes people also need funds for their businesses. And probably this is what has become more common for the funds to be given as loans. I'll probably talk about it later that loan is or debt is not the right expression for it. There needs to be some clarification about it, which needs to be made. However, if you are giving loan to somebody who is doing business, then you have a right to get something in return if the business is doing well. However, if the business is not earning anything, if the project goes into losses, is in the red, and you still insist that what you have given to the borrowing project, you must get your principal amount in return plus something in addition, knowing full well that the individual or the group of people who have borrowed the amount from you have not been able to earn anything or have been able to earn much less than what you're demanding from them. That again is not acceptable to the Almighty. That is again riba. Now, this is what has been prohibited. Why has it been prohibited? Well, the Almighty mentions himself in verse 279. By the way, the verses on riba, although there are two other verses which are in the Quran relevant to riba, one of them is in Surah Ar-Rum, it's a Meccan surah, and another one is in Surah Al Imran. But the full description and treatment of the Almighty's presentation on riba is to be found in Surah Al-Baqarah towards the end, from verse 275 to verse 281. In verse 279, the Almighty mentions, La tazlimun wa la tuzlamun. Neither are you going to be unfair to others. You will not treat others unjustly, nor you will be allowed to be treated unjustly. So, in other words, the basic reason why riba has been prohibited is that it is unfair.